Hello everyone, welcome back to another Train Sim World 6 video. Today we'll be going through the June 2026 roadmap, which, truth be told, is both disappointing and decent at the same time, and we'll get into why in a minute. If you want to have a look at it yourself, just pause the video right here. Skip the TLDR. Upcoming releases. As of recording, West Coast Mainline Trent Valley by All Aboard Studios releases tomorrow. It goes from Milton Keynes to Crewe, 108 miles long. 1700 UTC. I have to convert that. And they already did the preview live stream a few days ago. And truth be told, this route looks decent. It has had the heck optimized out of it, so it seems to run decently on consoles in comparison to Birmingham Crewe. And the Class 807 finally has the speed, IET speed set feature, and the 350/4 has new sound, and the scenery looks amazing. So, yeah. And there's also some more news about Trent Valley we'll get into in a minute, which we didn't know. So yeah. Modernized into 2000. So you start off at Milton Keynes Central, go up via Rugby, Nuneaton, Atherstone, Lichfield, Trent Valley, where you can route hop to Birmingham Cross City, and then up to Crewe, where you can route hop to Spirit of Steam, Preston to Crewe, which is upcoming later this month, I believe. What else? And Spirit of Steam. What an awful route that is. Anyway, unfortunately, so yeah, it's the longest point-to-point UK route in the game, and I must say this looks pretty decent. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty decent. There's a ton of layers too, and it's been optimized really well as well. I think my only problem with it is the lack of the Northampton loop, which means there's a bit of missing track between Daventry and Wolverton, as you can see here and here. But other than that, it's a pretty good route, I gotta say, and I am always a sucker for West Coast Main Line stuff, and All Aboard looked to have absolutely cooked. So yeah, the two methods of motor power included will be the Avanti West Coast Class 807 Evero, which is the electric-only version of the Evero fleet, while the 805s are the bi-mode ones. Then the 350/4 will be a new subvariant of the 350. It'll complement the Stroke 1 from West Coast Mainline South and the Stroke 2 and Stroke 3 from Birmingham to Crewe. So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of layers. Some of the layers are Avanti West Coast Class 390 Pendolino, Avanti West Coast Class 805, Cross Country Class 220 with 2 services plus AI at Stafford at Tamworth High Level, the Class 350/2 and Stroke 3 from Birmingham to Crewe, the 350/1 from West Coast Mainline South, the Direct Rail Services Class 66 from the Engineering Express Pack, the DB Class 66 from Euston to Milton Keynes, the Railhead Treatment Train, the Rail Operations Group Class 37, Northern Class 323 Wolverton Works Run and Crewe AI from the Glossop Line, not Manchester Airport Commuter, which means I'll be able to use it. Transport for Wales Class 150 and 153 ECS moves in AI from Cardiff City Network, East Midlands Trains Class 158 Express Sprinter from Midland Mainline, West Midlands Class 170s at Nuneaton, Cross Country Class 170s at Nuneaton and Tamworth High Level, Cargo Line Petroleum used for AI freight through Tamworth High Level, and Cargo Line Aggregates used for AI freight through Nuneaton. Yeah, it's going to be premium price, and you can wishlist it on Steam. Next up, it's another All Aboard Studios banger. This is our first proper look at the Class 70 from Freightliner. And oh my goodness. These things are ugly, but dang, they look to have been decently modeled. Remember, this is work in progress, of course. And the crucial thing about this is that this will be only the second kind of modern diesel UK freight after the Class 66, which has been in the game for going on 8 years now. And yeah, we're finally getting something other than the shed. And I'm not counting the Class 90 because that thing, quite frankly, is ass. and I'm not going to change my mind about it until Alan Thompson fixes it. Anyway, these things were made by GE in America and introduced from 2009. It's got the Freightliner Powerhaul livery. It's got 3,700 horsepower. So not as much as the Shed, I gotta say. But hey, if we could get a I wouldn't mind if All Aboard made a Colas Rail gameplay pack that added the Colas Rail livery if they got licensing for it, if I'm being honest. Because I believe that's the only other major operator of the 70, but I could be wrong about that. Then also will be officially licensed Wascosa MLA wagons for ballast, aggregate, and engineering materials runs. Over 100 drivable services available on release for the Class 70. 41 on Trent Valley, operating a variety of intermodal JNA and MLA wagon runs, some on Euston to Milton Keynes, and some on Birmingham to Crewe. On West Coast Mainline South of Birmingham Crewe, those will only be in the Evero timetables. There's also additional gameplay on the Thames Valley branches from Incredible Trains, and it's also going to substitute into the Mild May line once the Richmond extension is released. Which is, right from the get-go, it's going to have a lot of playability, I gotta say. Like, Trent Valley is going to be fun. And then West Coast Mainline South and Birmingham Crewe. And that's one thing I have about, a complaint that I have about the Evero timetable on West Coast Mainline South. There's not enough freight services. There's only 10 at the time of recording. So this adding more freight services to West Coast Mainline South in the Evero timetable is excellent. The gameplay's major highlight is a brand new timetable to the Midland Main Line. I'm just so glad to see the Midland Main Line getting a bit of love, you know? Added services and extra layers including the Class 220 and Class 170. A further 20 Class 70 services will be drivable on this timetable. Like, yeah! This is great! I gotta say, this is the thing I was really, really worried about with the Class 70. I was worried that, like Alan Thompson, they were just going to put services onto Class 70 services onto their own stuff, like the Evero timetables on West Coast Mainline South, Birmingham Crewe, and Trent Valley. But it'll also go on to Thames Valley branches, Mild May Line, and the Midland Main Line. Like, that's 6 routes from the get-go. And it finally adds the Class 220 and 170 into the timetable on Midland Main Line. Mind you, in a separate timetable. But yeah, that'll be pretty good. 8 engaging scenarios, including engineering works at Derby. Triple header runs, nighttime operations, aggregate loading at Mount Sorrel sidings. Nice. All Aboard Studios. Oh my goodness. After a bit of a rough start with Birmingham to Crewe, they are cooking. I love the 805. I think it's my favorite IET in the game by a long shot. Trent Valley looks absolutely awesome, and the Class 70, if anything, looks even better. I do have one slight disappointment with the 70, though this disappointment will mean it's actually playable for more people. I am a bit sad that, unfortunately, this will not be an expert-level locomotive. There is some speculation, including from yours truly, that this will be an expert-level locomotive. But it doesn't appear that it will be. So that's a minor disappointment on my part. And this looks absolutely incredible. Even if it's not expert level, this looks great. Something I do notice is that the cab screens, they remind me of modern American freight locomotives. Like, wow, they're very similar. Like, brake cut-in, speedo, it's all in the same place, same font, etc. as in modern freight locomotives, which makes sense. It was made by GE. Next up, West Coast Mainline, Crewe to Preston by Just Trains. There is a developer preview on the Just Trains channel coming on Thursday, the 11th of June at 7 p.m. British time. So if you're watching this, say 3 or 4 days from when I post this video, that developer preview will very probably already be up. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this too. I am a sucker for West Coast Mainline content, especially West Coast Mainline in the 80s, and it's just train, so we know it will be an absolute banger from the get-go. Just trying to... yeah, so there'll be a lot of stuff at Crew, and this will be the third version of Crew that we'll have in the game. We have the 1955 version of Crew with Spirit of Steam, the 2019 version with Birmingham Crew, the 2025 version with Trent Valley, and now we're getting the 1986 version with Crew Preston. So we're getting quite a lot of different versions of Crew. Ooh. I must say, I am fond of that rail freight grey on the 47. Makes a nice change from the BR blue. Oh, that updated Class 20 in the BR blue. Ooh, that thing is beautiful. Got some Gronk services. We've also got a time lapse, which you won't be able to hear because, yeah, let's just make sure that's high quality. So yeah, this is a time lapse at Warrington. Just keeping an eye out for any interesting services. Looks like there's a light loco going into the yard back there. There's a intermodal train that went through. It's like another light loco heading into the yard over there. Passenger train stopping. Freight looks like a coal train heading through there. Actually, I should mute it because, yeah, it's very loud in my earbuds, but you can't hear it, of course. So, yeah, it's that kind of thing. It goes on for 5 minutes. I'm not going to show the whole of it because, yeah, this video will get boring. There's a full route manual that you can find, and there's also more news on their blog about Crew to Preston. Next up, it's the BNSF GP60 M and B variants from High Iron Simulations. So, yeah. Services timetable features over 60 runs on Cajon Pass. Cement train services operating between San Bernardino, Victorville, Oro Grande, and Barstow. Barstow's switching layer from Cajon Pass is also included. Union Pacific services are recreated as a layer for owners of the Sherman Hill route, which should honestly be everyone because Sherman Hill was given away for free. If you didn't pick up Sherman Hill then, like I did, I will be incredibly disappointed. These include 8 end-to-end runs via trackage rides over the BNSF and 8 shorter runs over the UP's Palmdale Cutoff, which are currently represented on the Palmdale Cutoff in the current Cajon Pass timetable, but only as AI. You can't drive them. 4 scenarios on Cajon Pass and 4 scenarios on San Bernardino. Yeah, I'm not too interested in this. I like doing American Freight from time to time. It's just not really a thing that I do, and I'm a bit mistrustful of High Iron considering the Santa Fe on Cajon Pass debacle. So, yeah. Next up, Southern Pacific All Lines Hayden Branch. This is the first dedicated route from High Iron Sim. So it is focused on Southern Pacific's Hayden Branch in Arizona in the mid-1980s. So it's only going to be around 20 miles long, but it's going to have a 24/7 service timetable. You could lug copper ore, finished copper metals. Okay, it'll be set circa 1980. I was a bit wrong. I said mid-80s. Southern Pacific Line, today the railroad is Regional Copper Basin Railway. Really? So it's not owned by one of the big 3 freight haulers in America, namely CSX, BNSF, and Union Pacific / Norfolk Southern. Route. So we'll have cactus scenery of the Sonoran Desert. Route climbs over grades up to 2% with track speeds to 30 miles an hour. So this is going to be a slow route. It's not going to be anything remotely quick. Authentic recreations of sprawling open pit copper mine and adjoining service facilities at Ray, Arizona. Detailed recreations of the mill, smelting yard, and unloading facilities at Hayden. This will include the route will include Southern Pacific's EMGP35 and Southern Pacific C30-4 caboose. Ore hauling gondola, 43-foot acid tank car, and Southern Pacific 56-foot anode flat car. Ooh, I must say, they do look decent. Like, this modeling's not bad. Though, what on earth is that texturing on that wall there? Look how blurry that is. That's not good. But other than that, it looks decent, I will say. Several round trips have loaded 6,000-ton copper ore train movements from Ray Mine to the Hayden Unloader and empty trains making the reverse run. One round trip of the unit train delivering sulfuric acid from the smelter to the mine and returning with empty tank cars and copper ore concentrate loads. Complex loading and unloading duties at Ray and Hayden. Hours of switching and transfer movements around the sprawling Hayden smelter. Mainline transfer runs from Hayden to Ray Junction, including assembling and breaking up the mainline train at Hayden Yard, and interchange operations with the neighboring San Manuel, Arizona Railroad. So, I gotta admit, it's a solid concept. Like, genuinely. I wish High Iron all the best of luck with getting this very complex route going, but, and this is a big but, they will have to execute this to a high level of quality. No Santa Fe and Cajon Pass Pack shenanigans, please. Next up, Thames Valley branches from Incredible Trains. I am really looking forward to this route, genuinely, because it has the Marlow branch, and the Marlow branch is probably my, most travelled on piece of railway in Britain. I use it every time I come to the UK. So yeah, here's Windsor and Eton Central. Just went there on not this Saturday, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that. I went down the Windsor branch, and I must say, car park here, old station overhang there with shops underneath it. There's an Achilles class steam locomotive replica around there, and there's Windsor Castle in the background. And there's planes coming over into Heathrow. Johannes will have to make at least a 3D model of the Achilles class locomotive replica stored right here, behind that wall. Otherwise, I shall be sorely disappointed. There's another bridge over I believe the Thames, on the Windsor branch. A major design decision was to develop the Windsor, Henley, and Marlow branches as 3 independent, self-contained lines. The services on these branches naturally operate independently, connecting them through the Great Western Main Line would not have significantly expanded gameplay possibilities and would have instead recreated gameplay already available on Great Western Express, which is what I was thinking. I'm not surprised they did that. I mean, Johannes did that. Separating these branches, I was able to dedicate far more of the available performance budget towards scenery density, environmental detail, and route immersion. And I honestly get that route design choice. Genuinely, I think that's a great idea, because adding a bit of Great Western Express would not honestly have increased the amount of playability all that much. The route offers a very realistic timetable. Windsor services every 20 minutes. As per reality, Henley services every 30 minutes, Marlow services hourly, increasing to every 30 minutes during peak times. At least for the Windsor and Marlow branches, that is 100% realistic. Because, Windsor services every 20 minutes, 1,000,000% realistic. Marlow services run hourly, increasing to every 30 minutes during peak times. And I can add a little bit to this. They can do it every 30 minutes because the cab change at Bourne End is taken out because they run 2 separate trains on the Marlow branch. They run 1 train from Maidenhead to Bourne End and 1 from Bourne End to Marlow. So they can have a 3-coach train at Bourne End, going to Bourne End, and so increasing capacity and for the route as a whole. Ship Lake Crossing, this is on the Henley branch. Ship Lake, that's Henley branch as well. Every service starts and finishes within the respective branch, accurately reflecting real-world operations. That is also correct. One of the most exciting additions is the implementation of the fully interactable token system on the Marlow branch. This feature recreates the authentic working practices of the line and introduces a completely unique gameplay element. That is also 100% correct. The Marlow branch is one of the few pieces of track anywhere in Britain that still uses a token system. So I believe one other might be Ormskirk, the branch off the West Coast Main Line from Preston to Ormskirk, which, yeah, is semi-modelled in Train Sim World, thanks to Blackpool branches and Just Trains. A huge amount of development time has also gone into environmental immersion. For the first time in TSW, most houses use parallax window technology to simulate detailed 3D interiors. That is a good update. So instead of having blank windows, if you have a look at the image, there's actually an interior on the house now. Cheers, Johannes. That's actually brilliant. The route world is also filled with animated and reactive detail, including moving river traffic and pigeons that scatter as trains or players approach. Nice! There's also been a strong emphasis on real-world authenticity. Yeah. And realistic local bus branding. Nice! This is going to be a great route. Short. This is going to be one of those short but sweet routes, I feel. What station is that? I don't recognize it. We're not getting the Greenford branch, and I've been on the Marlow and Windsor branches, so this must be the Henley branch somewhere. Yeah, anyway, the goal with all these features is to make the route feel believable and lived in, not simply visually accurate. This is Slough, by the way, with the Windsor branch runner waiting to go there. The project has continued to make excellent progress, with ongoing work centered around polishing the route experience and refining the many smaller details across all three branches. This is going to be so good. Johannes is cooking, and this is going to be brilliant. Like, yeah, I'm going to be running up and down the Marlow branch all the time. This is going to be so much fun. Anyway, yeah, this is, apart from Tadami, this is the route that I'm most looking forward to. Next up, it's another Johannes W, the Mild Mainline Richmond extension. Work on the Richmond extension has been progressing well, and the project is now in a very strong state. A significant amount of development time has been dedicated not only to the extension itself, but also improving the experience across the existing route as a whole. A major focus has been performance optimization. This is something where the original Mild Mainline definitely suffered. I bought this route and then almost immediately refunded it because the frame rates were ass. Quite frankly. Extensive work has been carried out to improve overall frame rate throughout both the original route and the extension, alongside a large number of texture memory optimizations aimed at addressing the classic blurry texture issues and improving visual consistency. These improvements have allowed the route to maintain its high amount of environmental detail while also delivering a noticeably smoother and more stable experience. That'll be great for the people on console. TfL has kindly provided access to the original announcement audio files for both the Class 378 and station announcement system. That is really good. Genuinely, because the announcement system normally relies on an AI text-to-speech system, so it's never really 100% accurate. This will use the original audio files as provided by Transport for London, so that means the announcements will be 1,000,000% accurate. We got the proper sides for the voltage change on the 378. That's pretty cool. Next up, we got German high-speed Schnellfahrstrecke Neuenburg-Ingolstadt from Trainsim Germany. We got some screenshots. Fastest ever German high-speed route, 300 km/h running speed. This route is famous for setting some speed records, a Taurus locomotive achieving 357 kph. That is pretty quick. DBBR 101 with München Neuenburg express wagons and cab car, as well as the DBBR 403 ICE 3. So no new stock. The only quote-unquote new rolling stock is going to be München Nürnberg express wagons and the cab car, though the cab car and the 101 can be replaced by the Expert 101 and the cab car, which I can't remember the German name of, the Intercity cab car that comes with the the 101 pack. There's also some other add-ons in development, which don't have any further updates at this time, those being Kaga Line Volume 6 Gas by Skyhook Games, Tadami Line Aizu Wakamatsu to Tadami by Union Workshop, BNSF Snoot Nose SD40-2 by Atomovic Productions, Lisbon Setubal by Virtua Vi 360, Rhine Nearsbahn by Fuller's World, Cumbrian Coast Carlisle Whitehaven by Just Trains, Neckartalbahn Heidelberg to Neckarels by Trainsim Germany, and the DBBR 420 by Trainsim Germany. Honestly, the fact that the DBBR 420 hasn't gotten any updates at all is pretty cruel, considering we've known that that's coming as an add-on to 2021, and it's still not out. And also, not getting any updates on the Tadami line, which is the route that I'm probably most looking forward to, since, yeah, I've lived in Japan and I've been really enjoying running train. Is also a bit of a kick in the teeth. Anyway, state of the game. Blurred textures. So, blurry textures, multiple factors, blah, 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 blah. Our work done bettering optimization will remain a top priority. We're happy to have made progress. Goal remains the same. So, basically nothing new to report. How long has this been an issue? This has been an issue since, what? August 2024 when the Expert 101 came out. And that was when the blurred textures really started coming in with a vengeance. And yet, they still haven't fully fixed the issue. Anyway, smarter content loading optimizations. This is specifically a PlayStation issue. If a route tries to call on more than 64 gigabytes of DLC, then some of those DLCs won't show up as layers. It's due to PlayStation limiting how much memory a route or DLC can call on. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but yeah, they're currently doing like mounting optimizations. But the only route that's really been fixed for that is probably Stuttgart-Heilbronn. There's been some recent patches, Great Western Express and Riviera Line on May 5th, New York to Stamford on May 12th, a core update on May 28th, including the Class 805, Birmingham Crew, Dresden Leipzig, the BR147, Great Western Express, Frankfurt S-Bahn, Frankfurt Fulda, and more. And this was the update that also broke the Class 805's cab textures. Great job, developers. And then there was a core update on June 3rd, a recent hotfix to address TSW game crashes when launching the game, particularly on PlayStation 4 platforms. So, yeah, that's already out, I think. There's also some upcoming updates, but there's tentative dates that are currently working toward, but there's that they may push that back unexpectedly. June 16th, there's going to be a core update with the UK focus, including Class 90 updates. We have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Class 90 will be getting a large fix on June 16th, subject to change, of course. But, yeah. I never thought I would see the day Alan Thompson would finally fix the Class 90. Anyway, Riviera Line, West Coast Mainland South, Medway Valley, Expert BR145 changes. Please, developers, please include dynamic suspension for the BR145, because that was one thing that it didn't launch with. And that's the one thing which I don't like about it. Next up, TSW6 Core Update USA focus on potentially on June 23rd, including Morristown Line, San Bernardino, Fife Circle, Edinburgh Glasgow, and more. Why Fife Circle and Edinburgh Glasgow? Guess we'll just have to wait and see. TSW6 Core Update German focus on potentially on June 30th, including Leipzig, Dresden, Frankfurt Fulda, the Pfälzische Ludwigsbahn, Niddertalbahn, Mittenwaldbahn, Expert BR101, the BR194 and E94 Rail Tour Pack, and more. Wait, Niddertalbahn and Mittenwaldbahn getting fixes? Niddertalbahn hasn't gotten patched in literal years. Then there's also last week they showed a joint statement with the ATS team regarding the Class 90. Obviously, of course, they're not offering refunds. This violates some countries' consumer protection laws, because people should be, in a lot of countries, if they ask for a refund, the company is obliged to provide a refund, and yet they've never offered refunds for the disastrous release of the Class 90, contravening many people's consumer protection laws. And I think there's actually a lawsuit in progress against Dovetail Games, as it should be. These are the fixes that are coming for the Class 90. Safety systems and controller bindings for AWS, TPWS, and DSD, a completely rewritten from scratch speed set system, tandem operations of brake logic, audio adjustments and loop overhauls, and testing and optimization. Both DGG and ATS remain fully committed to hearing your additional feedback. Blah, 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 blah. I don't trust them to listen to any of that feedback, if I'm being honest. Because yeah, the Class 90 release was so disastrous, and then it was just complete radio silence. So, do I trust them to implement any changes regarding the Class 90? No. Do I trust them to break it more? Yes. Good thing I don't have it. Sorry for the rant. So, mastery challenges for June, blah blah. There's here are the 2 rail shot winners. This one of the BR111 on Mittenwaldbahn, and this one of the Class 87 on Preston Carlisle. Oh, it's Royal Scot as well. 87001. Nice. June 2026 Rail Shots competition is Pride on the Railways. So it's presumably because it's Pride Month. And yeah, that's it. Okay. I'm going to say it, this is a pretty substantial roadmap. There's some very exciting stuff. Thames Valley branches, Crewe Preston, the Class 70 especially is looking absolutely amazing. Genuinely. I think the Class 70 is going to be absolutely amazing. And also Trent Valley is going to be good. I'll be getting Trent Valley on release and playing it, so you chaps will be able to see it. So yeah, what have we got coming in the next 3 months? We've got Trent Valley coming out tomorrow as I'm recording this. Crewe Preston almost certainly coming out this month. And then Thames Valley branches, Cargo Line Volume 6 Gas, Tadami Line, Neuenberg Ingolstadt, the Class 70, and the BNSF GP60 all coming in the next 3 months. In the release date to be confirmed section, we have the BNSF Snoot Nose SD40-2, Lisbon Setubal, Southern Pacific Hayden branch, Rhine-Niersbahn, Cumbrian Coast, Neckar-Tarbahn, and the DB BR420. And we've also got Mild Mainline, Richmond Extension, Class 90 improvements, blurred textures and optimizations, and PS5 add-on mounting support in the improvement section. So yeah, that'll be all for this video, everyone. Obviously, what I'm most looking forward to are Crewe Preston, Trent Valley, Tadami, and Thames Valley branches. But let me know what you are most excited for down in the comments. Also, I'm really excited for the Class 70 now. I think that's going to be a day one purchase from yours truly. And yeah, let me know what you are most excited for down in the comments, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.